Hi, I'm Lorella. Today we've got some old friends coming for a visit. I'm going to introduce you to some new friends, and we're going to talk about the building of the stand for the rabbit cages. I'm sure you recognize these folks here. Kevin and Sarah. No? Nobody knows you?
Nah.
You live in obscurity?
Yes.
Not anymore. Not after Monday at Baker Creek. I heard you guys rocked it.
It was a good time. It was a great
time.
weekend out at Baker Creek.
We talked with a lot of great people, met a lot of great people. It was fun.
When I first set out to get rabbits this year, my intention was to get 2 does and a buck, so we would have a breeding trio. I built cages for them, and I placed them on cinder blocks here in this rabbitry that we made out of a dog kennel. If you didn't see the video on how we made the cages and the rabbitry, I'll put a link to it up here, and we'll also put an end card, so make sure you watch to the end so you can click over on that. At that time, this spot was plenty big enough for those rabbits, but then I got a call from Kevin and Sarah. Kevin and Sarah said that they're getting out of the California-New Zealand crosses and they're switching over to silver fox rabbits, and would I be interested in receiving some of their rabbits that they weren't going to breed anymore? And of course I said, yeah, bring them on over. They've brought 2 bucks and 2 does, which I will introduce you to here in a little bit. And it's very kind of you. I appreciate it. So all of a sudden I needed to double my amount of cage space that I had. The first thing that we did was to tear down the old archery target. It had lots of good wood in it. Only a cajillion more to go. We're almost done. And then I sat down with Chris and we talked through a plan. It sounded really good on paper. We are using all reclaimed materials from our old archery target. So far, we have the bottom level complete with cross bracing underneath every so often to hold our bottom cage, our bottom rabbit cage. The bunnies have been pretty good. We have a limited amount of space in here. We couldn't move something this big in, so we've had to cut the wood and then come in here and build it around the rabbits. This little tray right here is a real lifesaver when you're doing jobs with small metal pieces of any kind. It's magnetic. The tray is magnetic itself. The bottom is also magnetic, so you can stick it wherever you're working and it won't move around. This is great for not losing small parts in tall grass or under cars or anything like that. They come in several different sizes. If we can find one, we'll put a link to it down below in our Amazon shop for you. It's probably needless to say we ran into a few hiccups along the way.
And we're excited that you are starting this. We love to raise rabbits, and we're super happy that you're able to use these New Zealand Californian crosses.
Yeah.
We're switching over to the silver fox and have these 4 rabbits, and we couldn't think of anybody better than Lorella and her family to have them join their breeding stock.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a great time raising rabbits. It's really one of the things that really got us really addicted to raising our own meat was raising rabbits. So you guys are going to have a blast.
Yep.
These cages with the slanted fronts originally were designed to be on the bottom level of our rabbit stand, and the cages that are on the bottom with the straight up and down fronts would have been on the top. The doors to get in to these slanted cages are higher. They're 4 inches higher than the doors on the cages with the straight up and down fronts. We designed the height of this platform specifically so I could reach right in to those rabbit cages down there. Had we used those cages on top, this would have been a perfect design. There was just one problem with that plan. I wanted to be able to have something in between the 2 levels to collect the rabbit manure and rabbit urine and run it into a collection bin. These doors on these cages open up. There was not room between the 2 levels to open these cage doors all the way up and get rabbits out and still have a slide, a poop slide I call it, in between the cages. Well, we already had the bottom platform built. What are we going to do? We decided to go ahead and build the top platform, move these cages to the top. That was not a problem. Then all we had to do was bring in the new 3-hole rabbit cage that I had built from the garage and get it onto the bottom platform. We ran into another hiccup. No matter where we scooted this and how we tried to finagle them, we could not get those cages in the bottom. We had built it underneath the cages here on top, or the cages that are now on top, and then when we moved it up, we only had a certain amount of height distance between the top and bottom, and we couldn't get enough tilt to get the other cages. It was just a nightmare trying to do it. So I sacrificed a cage, and I got out my wire clippers, my snips, and just cut off the whole end, the last cage on the bottom, so we could get the 2 cages in here. And then I had to make a 3rd cage. So definitely think about where your cages are going to sit, how you're going to get them in and out of this platform. We made it just the length of the cages, not thinking about the fact we had to get in past these 4x4 posts. So that was our second problem. These guys are the real deal.
Aww.
You don't know this, but somebody messaged me a couple weeks ago and they're like, okay, haven't met them yet. They seem really cool on YouTube. And I'm like, no, they're the real deal. They're like, why don't they ever go to HOA? I said, because they don't go anywhere. They stay home.
We stay home and take care of our animals.
They work full-time on the homestead.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job
yeah.
for sure.
I said they got into YouTube just so their family and friends could keep up. You weren't setting out for fame and glory of any type.
No.
And it's just been a real blessing to watch you guys
Absolutely.
grow, because we've been friends
Thank you.
off camera
Yeah.
as well as on camera.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we live just on the other side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the next solution that we had to come up with is what to use as a poop slide and what direction for it to go. My original thought was to have a piece of sheet metal or metal siding go from one long end of the cage to the other one, and have it just roll off into a nice collection bin right there at the end of the rabbit stand. The problem with that is there's only about this much space between the bottom of the top cages and the top of the bottom cages. It's not quite enough of an angle over that much distance to have the poop and everything actually run down to the other end. So that wasn't going to work. We were also kind of pressed for time because I knew I had rabbits coming from Kevin and Sarah. So we came up with another solution. The temporary solution that we're using is plastic that goes from the front bottom of the top cages down to the top of the bottom cages and off the back. We put a piece of wood along there so that if the wind blows, it would keep the plastic off of the cage so they wouldn't get torn up by the cages. I ran into another problem. Are you counting? How many problems is that now? The problem with that being that piece of wood is keeping the plastic from being taut, so the poop is kind of catching, the poop and urine is catching in this little basin. I have to do something to get the poop off of the top, off of the plastic, off the back. The first step is lowering the wood in the back a little bit so it'll increase the angle that the plastic slides down. Hopefully that will help. I'm still not sure what my next step is going to be, but I'll figure it out eventually and I'll let you know when I do. Yeah. If you're one of those like weird people who for some reason have no idea who these guys are, it's Living Traditions Homestead, and I will put a link in the channel in the description for the video below.
Thank
you.
So make sure you hop over there.
Thank you.
And thanks for remembering me when you got big.
Oh gosh.
Don't forget the little guy.
Oh gosh. We enjoy what we do.
We do.
Just, living our dream on our little property in the Ava, Missouri area. We show a lot of different things on our channel: gardening, raising animals,
some cooking videos,
Yeah.
canning.
Yeah, food
Lots
storage.
of different series. If you're thinking about getting into rabbits, she did a whole series about 2 summers ago,
Yep.
maybe,
Mm-hmm.
on like beginning A to Z, beginning to end, how to raise rabbits. So I would definitely go watch that,
Thank you.
and I look forward to.
Oh, we should have brought you a cookbook. We'll get.
Oh,
I
darn
have
it.
one.
Oh, you do?
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have one,
All right.
and you guys have that for sale in your.
In our Etsy shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's $5. 25 of our favorite rabbit recipes.
There you go, Mama.
This is dough number 1. This is dough number 2. This is buck number 1. This is buck number 2. I'm not a farm girl because I didn't grow up on a farm. If I can do this, you can do this. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time, the Rooster Crows.